Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce just had what many people are calling one of the biggest celebrity weddings of the decade. The couple officially tied the knot in a star-studded event at Madison Square Garden with a guest list packed with famous faces and a level of attention usually reserved for royalty. It was supposed to be the ultimate fairy tale ending, the pop superstar and the NFL champion finally making it official, but somehow almost immediately after the wedding, bells stopped ringing, people online started asking a very different question. Could this marriage actually last? Now, before anyone starts writing divorce papers for two people they've never met, let's be clear, nobody outside of Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce knows what happens inside their marriage or what's going to happen inside their marriage. But when a celebrity couple becomes this famous, every public moment is going to get analyzed, every decision gets debated, and suddenly the same things, fans once called cute can become things critics call red flags. So let's talk about it. That's exactly why people are starting to question whether the pressure surrounding this relationship could eventually become too much. The first red flag and thing that people point out is how quickly this relationship became a global spectacle. Taylor Swift has spent years protecting parts of her personal life, especially after previous relationships became nonstop media coverage. I mean, she did write a bunch of songs about them, so. But with Travis, their romance became a full-blown cultural event. NFL games became celebrity appearances. Their outfits became headlines. Their relationship became a storyline followed by millions of people around the world. And while being loved by fans sounds amazing, kinda, there is a difference between having a relationship and having a relationship that feels like a public production. The second red flag and thing that critics have questioned is whether their personalities will continue to work outside of this whole honeymoon phase. Taylor is known for being highly strategic, private, and careful with her public image. Hence, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds not being at the wedding. Travis Kelce has built his brand around being outgoing, a little emotional, he gives cancer a little bit, and larger than life. And honestly, that contrast is part of what made them interesting. Another major concern people bring up is the level of fame surrounding them. This is not a normal marriage where two people can have an argument, take some space, move on, take a breather. Every interaction is going to be photographed. Every facial expression becomes a theory. Every rumor becomes a headline. Taylor has spent her entire career dealing with intense public attention, and Travis has also experienced a completely different level of fame since becoming linked to one of the biggest musicians in the world. Even strong relationships can struggle when millions of strangers feel like they have a front row seat, right? And finally, some critics wonder if their relationship has become too connected to their public identities. Taylor Swift is not just a singer, she is a global brand. Travis Kelce is not just a football player, he's one of the most recognizable athletes in the world, thanks to Taylor. Together, they became one of the biggest celebrity couples ever. But when a relationship becomes this iconic, the pressure is not just to be happy. The pressure is to prove everyone else right or wrong. Because after a wedding this massive, the expectations are almost impossible, right? But history has shown us that sometimes the couples who look the most perfect from the outside can be facing the biggest challenges behind closed doors. And this isn't the first time a celebrity couple has had millions of fans convinced everything was perfect, only for cracks to start showing later. So let's get into the next set of celebrities who also may be headed for divorce. Could a divorce for Justin and Hailey Bieber be on the horizon for the new year? 2026 might be the year they say we're done. Okay, let's talk about Justin and Hailey Bieber, the couple that has been trying so hard to convince the world they're fine that it has officially become the biggest red flag of the decade. I mean, if you have to repeatedly announce that you're good, strong, and taking things day by day, you're not announcing stability, you're announcing the countdown to your divorce. Let's start with Justin, because this man has spent the last 2 years expressing his feelings exclusively through Instagram captions that read like the diary entries of someone who just discovered heartbreak for the very first time. I mean, at one point, he wrote a whole paragraph confessing that he's broken, angry, fragile, struggling, everything except happy in his marriage. These weren't cryptic quotes, these were the emotional equivalent of a flashing neon sign that says, "My marriage is on fire and I'm standing in the flames with an acoustic guitar." Meanwhile, Hailey has been posting her own curated kind of melancholy stuff. I mean, she's dropping lines like, "I am imperfect, I have been rejected, and I still have purpose," which is exactly the kind of thing you post after realizing, affirmations won't fix a relationship that feels like a group project where you're the only one doing the work. And when she said they were just taking it, a day at a time, every therapist worldwide quietly raised an eyebrow. Nobody who's in a healthy marriage says we're taking it a day at a time. That's what you say when your relationship is on the same life support machine as a plant you forgot to water for 3 weeks. And let's talk about the dynamic here, because these two have an energy that screams, we love each other, but we don't actually like each other. The vibes are tense. Justin has publicly shaded Haley more than once, like when he told her she'd never be on the cover of Vogue, and then she went and landed the cover of Vogue, and he posted it with the enthusiasm of a man who just realized his wife exceeded a standard he set as a joke. That is not support. That is embarrassment disguised as pride. I mean, their public moments don't help either. They look like a couple whose arguments start with, I'm fine, and end with one of them crying in a Range Rover while paparazzi zoom in from across the street. And yes, they've got a kid now, but adding a baby to a shaky foundation doesn't magically fix anything. We all know that. It just means now there's a witness to all of this. The truth is their entire marriage feels like two people trying to heal a million emotional wounds with, aesthetically pleasing photos, vacation montages, and PR-approved statements. But behind the scenes, the cracks are loud, the energy is off, the chemistry is giving situationship that accidentally got a marriage certificate. Every year people say they won't make it, and every year they do, but barely. And now, after all the emotional breakdowns, cold body language, sad interviews, and oddly timed spiritual quotes, it genuinely feels like both of them are living in separate realities and occasionally scheduling a kiss for optics. So yeah, I don't know. Is 2026 the year Justin and Haley finally call it quits? Honestly, the evidence isn't subtle. I mean, when you have two people broadcasting emotional distress like it's free Wi-Fi, that's not a couple that stays married forever. That's a couple kind of inching closer and closer to filing a divorce and releasing matching notes app statements about love, respect, and growth. I mean, at this point, the divorce papers are basically warming up in the bullpen, and honestly, it might be the best thing for both of them, because when your marriage causes more emotional monologues than a Taylor Swift album and more cryptic posts than a teenage breakup, that's not romance. That's a storyline waiting to happen. And 2026 is looking like the year that this storyline finally drops.
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis's marriage is in serious trouble, and insiders are now saying things are worse than fans thought. Fans used to gush about them as the cute Hollywood couple. Now they're whispering that Ashton has checked out emotionally, while Mila feels isolated, frustrated, and alone in the relationship. And it's not just rumors. Friends are raising red flags. Let's get this straight. Ashton Kutcher isn't ignoring his marriage because he's jet-setting for romantic getaways. No, according to insiders, he's so absorbed in the tech world and his latest business obsessions that he's barely present at home. Sources say Ashton's focus has shifted entirely to networking with tech bros, investing, and building his second career, leaving Mila to deal with life, kids, and Hollywood on her own. Friends are reportedly worried that Ashton's priorities are so out of balance that Mila is left feeling very isolated. A pretty brutal description for someone who's supposed to be your partner for life. And here's where it gets even messier. Sources who've known them for years say things have changed dramatically in recent months. According to insiders, Mila and Ashton no longer share the same energy, goals, or even the same circle of friends. And that's exactly how marriages crack and collapse behind closed doors. One friend reportedly warned Ashton that he's lost interest in building a life with Mila like he used to, because all of his energy is tied up with tech events, fundraisers, and business lunches with new associates. Now, let's talk about isolation. Not as some cute quote on a coffee mug, but the real buzzword insiders are using. According to reports, Mila doesn't want to give up her Hollywood life or her career, and she doesn't want to be left alone raising their kids while Ashton chases deals and board memberships across Silicon Valley. That's not tension. That's a relationship growing apart. When one partner feels sidelined and the other is emotionally unavailable, flames go out fast, and the pressure is only getting worse. Fans haven't forgotten past controversies, like the backlash over their apology letters supporting convicted that 70s show co-star Danny Masterson, which still haunts their public image online. Even when they try to appear united on red carpets, some fans are now shouting that they're not forgiven and their public smiles look more like PR damage control than real happiness. That's the kind of heat that gets under a couple's skin when the cameras stop rolling. Head out together, coordinated denim looks, Rome strolls, even family vacations. But insiders say those moments are more about saving face than saving a marriage. It's the old Hollywood playbook. Look happy in paparazzi pics, ignore the cracks nobody sees off camera. But when people who actually know you are saying things like, he needs to step up, you know it's past denial. So what's really going on with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis? Are they heading for divorce or just in the worst rough patch of their marriage? marriage. Here's the brutal takeaway. When one spouse checks out emotionally and invests their time elsewhere, it's not just trouble, it's a slow unraveling. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this marriage on the rocks, or are they just weathering a storm Hollywood style?
Something is seriously wrong with Benny Blanco, and yes, the clips are terrifyingly uncomfortable. Since marrying Selena Gomez, the internet is panicking, and nobody wanted to say this until now. Look, they should be Hollywood's power couple. She's a global icon, he's a hitmaker. But something weird is happening behind the glamour. Ever since that Santa Barbara wedding, the internet isn't just talking, it's obsessing. Fans started noticing strange behavior and hilarious but cringe habits from Benny, like that Golden Globes chewing gum moment people couldn't unsee. Fans called it nasty, open-mouth chewing, and straight up distracting on camera. People were like, tell him to stop on Twitter and on Threads. And it didn't stop at gum chewing. Every camera cut had people talking. One comment said it made them want to punch a hole in the wall. That's not love, that's Monday morning tantrum energy. Now fans online have actually started roasting the whole relationship. Some saying Benny just looks uninterested, like he's not even in it unless the cameras are on him. Some Reddit threads brutally claim that Selena chased him and that he never really gave love back. Now that's a hard narrative. Then there's the other side of this story. Selena herself recently opened up about how she cried and feared the worst right after their wedding. She said that even amid the happiest moment of her life, her brain went straight to, what if this all goes wrong tomorrow, and sobbed. Now that's raw vulnerability, not a PR spin. Fans took that though and ran with it. Some supportive, some saying it's signs of insecurity, others saying it's just pressure from fame. Either way though, people are talking. And fan reactions, well, it's mixed chaos. Some fans are straight up shading the couple's Golden Globes appearance, saying they didn't even look like a couple. Commenters insist that they looked like a mess and claimed that there was zero chemistry. Oof. Others insisted that Selena's the one putting in all the emotional work, and Benny's just there for the front row perks. Yikes. Now, you have to see social posts, memes about Benny's habits, clips gone viral, people mocking everything from gum to awkward expressions, and it's like watching a reality show without the producers. Commentary's wild, from supportive to savage, and that split makes everyone talk even more. Now, just at the 2026 Golden Globes, they were supposed to be the picture-perfect newlyweds, Selena glowing in Chanel and Benny beside her. They even hit a diner afterwards, like total relatable couple goals, but even amid the glam and the PDA, the online narrative was already writing itself. Is this just pressure, a weird habit, or a sign that their marriage isn't what it looks like? That's the tea everyone's sipping. So tell me, is this just quirky celebrity behavior, or is there something seriously weird going on with Benny Blanco's energy since marrying Selena Gomez? Comment team concerned or team it's nothing below.
Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz may be headed towards a divorce sooner than we thought. So Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz are officially giving marriage under pressure. No, this isn't just tabloids being dramatic. This is a full-blown family implosion with billionaire in-laws, image control, and decades of Beckham branding crashing headfirst into a very young marriage. Because right now, Brooklyn isn't just distancing himself from his famous parents, he's publicly choosing sides, and the side he's choosing is Nicola. Now, sources close to the situation say Brooklyn has become completely estranged from David and Victoria Beckham, and the reason allegedly is Nicola. Now, or more specifically, his decision to actually defend her at all costs, even if it means torching his relationship with his own family. And, you know, that's where things start getting messy. According to reports, the tension that's actually between Nicola and Victoria didn't magically just kind of appear out of nowhere. It's actually been simmering since the wedding, you know, the infamous wedding, the one that was supposed to be a fairy tale and instead turned into a Cold War with floral arrangements. Yeah. The dress drama alone was enough to fuel headlines for, you know, years to come. Now, Nicola didn't wear a Victoria Beckham gown despite early plans, and that reportedly struck a nerve, and from there, everything escalated. I mean, passive comments, hurt feelings, power struggles, and control control issues disguised as, misunderstandings. But here's where it gets interesting. Brooklyn is no longer playing neutral. Behind the scenes, insiders say Brooklyn feels his parents have repeatedly crossed boundaries in his marriage, that they've inserted themselves, questioned decisions, and treated Nicola less like his wife and more like a problem that needed to be managed. And Brooklyn, he's had enough. He's reportedly told friends that his loyalty is with his wife, full stop, period. He also said that Nicola makes him feel supported, understood, and protected, things he allegedly hasn't felt with his own family for a very long time, which is a big statement when your parents are literally David and Victoria Beckham. And this is where people start whispering the word divorce, because when a marriage becomes the center of a family fracture this deep, the pressure is unreal. On one side, you've got a woman who comes from extreme wealth, who doesn't need the Beckham name, who doesn't rely on their brand, and who isn't interested in playing polite when she feels disrespected. And on the other side, you've got a family whose entire legacy is built on image, loyalty, and, control of the narrative. Also, allegedly, the parents have said, that they won't talk to him unless he splits from her, which is crazy. So Brooklyn, of course, is stuck in the middle, except lately he's not in the middle at all. He's fully aligned with Nicola, and friends of the Beckhams say David and Victoria are devastated. I mean, they feel blindsided. They believe Nicola has pulled Brooklyn away from them and created distance that didn't need to exist. But people close to Brooklyn, they see it very differently. They say this isn't Nicola isolating him, it's Brooklyn finally setting boundaries. And if that's true, that's a dangerous emotional position for a young marriage to be in, because when you cut off your entire support system for your partner, the relationship suddenly has to carry everything, every, disagreement, every bad day, every crack. That's when resentment creeps in. And that's why people are watching this marriage so closely, because while Brooklyn is publicly standing firm, insiders say the pressure behind closed doors is intense. He's balancing loyalty to his wife with unresolved pain from his parents, and that emotional weight doesn't just disappear because you post a cute little Instagram photo. Nicola, meanwhile, is said to feel constantly blamed, like no matter what happens, she's the villain or the woman who took their son away. But the question is whether this marriage can survive being the battleground for one of the most famous families in the world, because love is one thing, but love under this much pressure, that's where cracks start to show. And if this keeps escalating, don't be surprised if headed towards divorce stops sounding like less speculation and starts sounding like a headline that finally comes true. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel aren't exactly living in marital bliss, and I've got some tea on that. Let's get straight into it. Justin Timberlake, ex-boy band heartthrob, solo pop legend, actor, king of sexy back, and Jessica Biel, A-list Hollywood actress, mom, producer, have been married since 2012. But peel back the red carpet gloss and what looks like a fairy tale in tabloids might actually be a struggle. Now, this isn't your typical they had a fight at brunch celebrity drama. No, insiders have told outlets that Jessica Biel has been frustrated with Justin's alleged lack of effort to actually, help with their marriage, especially at a time when his schedule should have given him space to focus on family. And yeah, it doesn't stop there. Sources have even described the couple's marriage as having little to no intimacy, a dry, passionless dynamic that would be tough for any relationship, let alone, one always in the public eye. To understand why this is such a topic, we have to rewind a little bit. Justin Timberlake doesn't exactly have a spotless reputation when it comes to relationships. Even before Jessica, his history was, punctuated with rumors and controversies, from the infamous Crimea River era, and all the speculation about Britney Spears, to flirtation scandals and very public celebrity moments that kept his name in gossip columns. Now, that particular pattern didn't magically disappear once he married Biel. I mean, in 2019, Justin was photographed hand in hand with his Palmer co-star in New Orleans, cozy enough for a public apology. He ended up deleting the post, claiming it was a lapse in judgment and blaming, alcohol, while insisting nothing happened physically. Okay. That's the kind of message the public remembers, and one that sparks serious public gossip about, fidelity. But fast forward to the marriage years, and things started getting, let's just say, weirder. Despite the couple's long history of reaffirming their love publicly, including, birthday posts, anniversary shoutouts, sources more recently paint a picture of strain. People close to Biel reportedly feel that Timberlake is not doing enough to actively contribute to fixing problems, even though his work plate isn't overloaded. So that's a telling detail. A husband who appears too busy for growth in his marriage, even when he has time. Then there's the matter of distance, emotional and otherwise. One report described Beal and Timberlake as being like day and night, as if they just don't relate to each other the way they once did. And, if that weren't enough, some outlets even floated the possibility that this marriage, already public and complicated, could be in a precarious place, with gossip fueling speculation around a potential split down the road. Meanwhile, Timberlake, been handling his own personal curveballs too. Widely covered DWI arrest in 2024 embarrassed the whole family. It was in public. It added stress and reportedly didn't win him any brownie points at home. So let's be clear. This isn't just tabloid, fever or whatever. Multiple outlets have reported on marital strain and lack of intimacy between Jessica and Justin, even after years together. Jessica's frustration at Justin's perceived lack of effort to improve things, energy and connection issues they've publicly, been described as facing, and ongoing speculation that this isn't a settled, happy Hollywood marriage story, the way PR might want you to think it is. But here's the twist. Every time rumors wind up circling, the drain, Justin and Jessica both come out with statements or public posts about how committed they are, how much they love each other, and how they're working through it. That's the Hollywood duality, struggle behind the scenes, positivity on the surface. So what's really going on? Is Jessica Biel quietly reevaluating her marriage to a man who makes headlines for scandal more than romance? Is Justin Timberlake quietly trying to fix things but losing traction with time and missteps? Honestly, probably a bit of both, just like many relationships not happening under the spotlight of millions every day. At the end of the day, a marriage can never just be about the glamorous photos. And in this case, the report suggests the gloss might be hiding a lot more conflict, frustration, and emotional distance than fans ever expected. Is Kristen Bell trapped in a toxic marriage? Let's dig into it. Lock in with me. The internet just collectively short-circuited after she casually said something that absolutely detonated her carefully curated Hollywood healthy marriage image. Now, Kristen Bell, America's quirky, relatable sweetheart, openly admitted that she doesn't really care if her husband, Dax Shepard, cheats on her. And no, she didn't whisper it in like a therapy session. She said it out loud in an interview like it was a normal Tuesday thought. And the moment that sentence left her mouth, well, people stopped hearing nuance and started hearing sirens. Her logic was basically this: humans are attracted to other humans. Marriage doesn't magically turn your eyes off, and pretending otherwise is kind of delusional. She framed it as honesty, emotional maturity, and realism. The internet framed it as blink twice if you're trapped. Because let's be real for a second, when a woman says she wouldn't care if her husband cheated on her, people don't hear confidence, they hear resignation, they hear coping, they hear someone who's talked themselves into accepting less than they deserve, especially when that husband is Dax Shepard, a man who has openly talked about his past cheating, substance dependency issues, and just emotional chaos for literal years on his podcast. So timing did her absolutely no favors either, because this comment resurfaced right after Kristen posted that deeply uncomfortable anniversary message where she joked that Dax once said he would never unalive her, even though he had every incentive to. And yes, she probably meant it as dark humor, but the internet read it and collectively went, girl, are you okay? Honestly, people were not laughing, they were concerned. And when you combine that post with her cheating comments, suddenly it stopped sounding like edgy humor and started sounding like someone normalizing dysfunction because it's easier than unpacking it. And that's where the toxic marriage conversation really kicked off. Even recently on a podcast, Dax admitted that he enjoys flirting with other people, and his close friend Monica Padman, who was the host of the podcast, told him, maybe you lost that right when you got married. He responded, well, in typical Dax Shepard way, saying he basically just likes to flirt. Okay, so Kristen and Dax have always branded themselves as brutally honest, therapy-obsessed, self-aware adults who fight hard but love harder. They've talked openly about, screaming matches, resentment, attraction to other people, and the constant work it takes to stay together. But there's a fine line between transparency and oversharing, to the point where people start questioning whether you're actually happy or just committed to the narrative of being real. Kristen tried to clarify that she wasn't saying cheating is okay, just that attraction is inevitable, and it's what you do with it that matters. But here's the issue. That explanation only works when your relationship doesn't already have visible cracks, when the public already knows your partner has a history of cheating. That clarification stops sounding philosophical and start sounding like pre-forgiveness, and Dax didn't exactly help. I mean, instead of shutting it down cleanly, he kind of leaned into jokes, sarcasm, and podcast-style deflection, which only fueled the idea that this marriage survives on humor instead of boundaries. He even had to publicly clarify that they're not swingers, they're not in an open marriage, and not quietly redefining monogamy behind closed doors, because rumors had spiraled that far. But here's the uncomfortable part nobody actually wants to say out loud, but I will. Sometimes people normalize behavior not because they're enlightened, but because accepting it feels safer than confronting the possibility that your needs aren't being met. Kristen's comment didn't sound like someone empowered by trust, it sounded like someone emotionally detaching from a scenario because engaging with it would just hurt entirely too much. There's also a power imbalance people ignore. Kristen Bell is widely successful, yes, but she's also an emotional stabilizer in the relationship. She's the caretaker, the communicator, the one constantly framing chaos as character, and when that person says they wouldn't care if their partner cheated on them, it raises a bigger question. Who is doing the compromising and who is benefiting from it? This isn't about judging how people structure their marriages, it's about optics, patterns, and what happens when being chill starts looking a lot like emotional self-abandonment. Kristen might genuinely feel secure enough not to spiral over a hypothetical, or she might be doing what a lot of women do when they love someone complicated, redefining expectations so they hurt less when they're violated. And the reason this went viral isn't because people hate her, it's because they recognize the dynamic. They've seen it, they've lived it, they told themselves the same stories to survive toxic relationships that ask them to bend further than they ever should have. Whether Kristen wants to admit it or not, the red flags aren't hypotheticals, they've been public for years.
Divorce rumors are exploding around Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra after one viral Golden Globes clip, and social media is losing it. So let's dig in. Here's what kicked off. At the 2026 Golden Globes, Nick Jonas was caught stepping outside mid-show alone. In a viral video, the internet instantly flipped over. Fans started screaming, "Something's wrong," and of course, divorce rumors hit at warp speed. But wait, before the rumor mill goes full meltdown, Nick actually explained why he walked out. He said the awards show noise triggered his social anxiety, hitting him like a gut punch, and fans actually rallied behind him for speaking openly about it. Now, of course, some corners of the internet did not wait for facts. Clips of Nick alone sparked comments like "divorce coming soon," and strangers online began breaking down their body language like amateur therapists. One user even tweeted that their chemistry looked non-existent, saying Nick looked annoyed while Priyanka looked confused. That's the fuel that ignites the headline fire. And let's rewind, as this isn't the first time people have read too much into this couple. At the 2025 Met Gala, body language experts and social media detectives claimed that their red carpet energy was tense, awkward, and less romantic than usual. Experts said they looked strained, less tactile, and not as playful as we're used to. And fans immediately spun that into trouble in paradise. And years before all of this, relationship analysts listed some supposed red flags, like Nick sometimes photographed without his wedding ring, and the couple spending weeks apart due to work commitments. But here's the catch. Experts also point out many reasons this doesn't mean divorce, like how they still show affection publicly, support each other's careers, and celebrate being a family. Not everything is doom and gloom, but gossip culture loves distraction. Now, back at the Golden Globes, Nick didn't disappear for a romantic escape from Priyanka. He literally took a breather due to social anxiety, which he linked to his new song Gut Punch, as he discussed before in relation to his mental health. Meanwhile, Priyanka slayed the red carpet in custom Dior, fixed his bow tie in a cute moment, and later shared behind-the-scenes date night vibes on social media. But of course, some fans can't see that without twisting it into a headline. So why is the internet so ready to write them off? Part of it's simply celebrity culture. People love seeing a perfect couple fall apart. Plus, long work schedules, different cultural backgrounds, and past bouts of awkward body language keep fueling speculation online, despite no confirmed breakup. Comment threads are wild, with fans dissecting every photo, video, and split-second moment, a reminder that fans can create drama faster than Hollywood publicists can stomp it out. But let's look at the actual moments from them. Nick and Priyanka walking the carpet together, Priyanka adjusting his tie playfully, romantic getaway clips on Instagram where they're clearly affectionate. That doesn't scream divorce imminent, it screams Hollywood couple under a microscope.